Hello everyone, I'm Ennis, and welcome to the first episode of Game Talk, and what an episode this will be. Yes, with the most recent direct fresh in our minds, or as fresh as it can be for me to be able to write the script up and edit a video together, there are so many possibilities to talk about. But what will I be talking about? It'll be the last thing mentioned there. Animal Crossing. So, I bet you're wondering what awesome possibilities for the new upcoming game that I could possibly be here to talk about today. After all, there's so many. The answer? The fact that I think it was a good thing that the game never came out on the Wii U. Hold on, I know what you're thinking. But before you hit that downvote button, or alternatively send Tom Nook out here to put me in crippling debt, hear me out a bit. Now, let's get one caveat out of the way first. I'm talking about main series games. That's why I'm not counting Amiibo Festival, for better or worse. Let's face it, it's mostly better. Now, for this, I would actually love to have a recording of each of the games, but unfortunately I can't find my original copy of Animal Crossing for the GameCube. On top of that, while I can record Game Boy games through the Game Boy player on the GameCube, I have no way of recording DS or 3DS games, so that leaves out Wild World and New Leaf. Even though it's not a main series, I could put on Amiibo Festival. Don't worry, I'm only kidding. I would not torment you to that. I only bought the game for the Isabelle Amiibo. But yeah, because of those reasons, I'll be recording City Folk. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's begin discussing why I think it was a good thing that Nintendo did not make Animal Crossing for the Wii U. We'll start with the first reason, because where else am I going to start? When Animal Crossing first came out, it was on what was most easily the well-placed place for it, the Nintendo GameCube. And no, I'm not going to be talking about the Japanese exclusive version of the game, like the one that came out for the N64, because I really only know about that stuff from things I heard from other sources. But yeah, the GameCube had the ability to play the games in a way where you could see what you were looking at, and because of the internal clock in the GameCube, the game could truly be in real time. It was great at the time. What do I mean by that? Well, how do you play these games? It's a serious question. Do you go hardball and play for hours? Or do you generally just pick it up for a brief period of time, say hello to your villagers, maybe do a few chores, and then when you've had your fill, do something else? Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure that when you first start the game, you might play hardball, but how long does that last? A month? 2? Even that long? What happens after that? You go to the second option. That's how I'm betting you play the game, after the first initial rush anyways. It's how my friends play the game, at least the ones who do play the game. It's also how I play the game. And don't get me wrong, going back for nostalgic reasons can be fun, and can even push a few extra hours out when you play it. But I'm betting that a majority of the people, when playing regularly and not in a hype situation, are going to be doing the second option. But looking at those points is actually what made the next game in the series perfect. A majority of what was updated in Wild World were quality of life improvements. But the most important improvement was the fact that it was on a Nintendo DS, a portable system that could handle the requirements to play it properly. It is on a system where, if I have the urge, I can play for as long as I want, but at the same time, if I just want to pick it up for a short period of time to say hello to my villagers, then I can do that. And I don't even have the hassle of needing to go to my TV set up to play it. Heck, I can even play it when I'm not at home. It was, for the second time in the series, the perfect place for it to be at the time. Up next, we have City Folk. Honestly, and yes, I might get some hate for this, but I think City Folk is actually the weakest entry in the series. Main series. Now don't get me wrong, the worst masterpiece is still a masterpiece, and likewise, this game is still a brilliant game, but by this point we have already had the game in a portable setting. Yes, the game was an evolution of the main series game, but by putting it on a console, a die was cast. By saying you want to play this game, you decide to play it on your TV. It was no longer a pick up and play game. Yes, this was not an issue with the original, But the reason why it was not an issue is because the original did not have anything to contend against. City Folk does. It needs to contend with the portableness factor of Wild World. And quite frankly, I don't think the evolution that the game took were enough to get past the fact that it was not really conclusive to pick up and play. But anyways, I think we should move on. If I stay on City Folk much longer, you all might think I hate the game, which is not true. The game's great. It's just the weakest of perfection. And speaking of perfection, we get to New Leaf. To begin with, the game evolved the series much better than City Folk did. But by putting it on the 3DS, it didn't have to compete with its past entries on where to place it. It was the perfect harmony. The ability to just pick it up and play anywhere, especially with all the improvements it had, was perfect. And say what you will about online play, but being able to bring my 3DS with me and play Animal Crossing with friends and other people were just great. And while it is still good, online play just never held a candle to that kind of gaming. Also, because of the pick up and play nature of it being on the 3DS, this was the first game I decided that was truly better to buy digital. That way, I can truly jump into the game at will, never having to worry about if I have the game card with me or not. The next console would have been the Wii U, had they decided to make a game for it. A main series game. And yes, while I will admit, it would have been a bit better than City Folks in terms of pick up and play, due to the fact that the game would probably have off-screen play with the Wii U gamepad, I just don't think it would have gone as far as how it feels to play on a portable system. See what I did there? Yeah, the gamepad may not have been wired up to the console, but you still need to be very close to it. On top of that, it's actually kind of bulky. In all fairness, though, that isn't too bad of an issue, as it's a surprisingly comfortable controller. And in the normal playstyle for Animal Crossing, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But still, it's something I thought I'd bring up for those long players. But yeah, honestly, I just don't think it would have worked for a game like Animal Crossing to be put on the Wii U. And then finally, we have the Switch. And though we don't know much about it yet, we do know one thing. It will be both portable and home console. That means that everyone can have their play. It can be played on a big screen TV when we're in hardball mode, and yet it can also be played anywhere else we like. I can play it in my bed. I can play it at work. I can play it on the train. I don't really take trains that much, but that's not the point. I can play it there. I can play it in so many more places, and so can you. Because of that, it fits the pick up and play model for Animal Crossing more than any game yet. Arguably even more than New Leaf. But finally, there's one more reason why I think it was a good thing that the game never came out to the Wii U. And what is that reason, you might be asking? Simple. If the game came out on the Wii U, chances are we would not be getting a Switch version of it for at least another few years. Yep, that's right. Think about it. Animal Crossing New Leaf came out in 2012. The Switch got released in 2017. If we were going to get a Wii U version, it probably would have come out in 2016 or even early 2017, right when the Wii U was dying. With that in mind, 2019 might have been too soon for them to make one for the Switch, especially if they were already going to try and implement new ideas into it like they did with making you the mayor in New Leaf. But with that out of the way, I think we covered all the bases. And that was the first episode of Game Talk, not Game Listen to Me Talk. So, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below, whether you agree with me or not, or even if you're going to be sending Tom Nook my way. Just do me a favor and be polite about it. The idea of this show is discussion. And if you like what you saw, please consider hitting that like button. And if you want to see more, there's also that subscribe button down there too. Anyways, until next time, game on.